Good, happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's get started right now with this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King. First up, release of man suspected of firing shots highlights problems with bail reform, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In February, someone fired shots at a car parked at a home on Mast Road in Manchester. With a renewed focus on fighting gun crime in the Queen City, police worked hard to identify a suspect.
You have somebody just, recklessly shooting off a gun in a densely populated residential area with no accountability for where those rounds are going.
When that suspect was arrested this week, he was charged with felony reckless conduct, but immediately released from custody on personal recognizance bail under New Hampshire's 2018 bail reform law. Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg says the case joins a long and still growing list that has left his officers exasperated as they try to protect public safety.
What's it going to take? Some child in his bedroom or her bedroom or some innocent person in their home gets struck by gunfire? And then everybody's going to say, oh, we really need to do something about this.
But in debates at the State House, when cases like this are referenced, supporters of bail reform dismiss them as just stories being told by police.
It's largely anecdotal. It's targeted in certain locations. By and large, we believe the 2018 reforms are working.
Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig disagrees. In an interview for Close Up, she says she's trying to make the case for change.
How are you going to convince your fellow Democrats outside of Manchester that this is a real problem?
So we've had a number of conversations, and in fact, the revisions to the bail reform were put forward by representatives of Manchester. And so they've seen the data that the Manchester Police Department has put forward. We hear about it day in and day out that violent offenders are being released on PR bail.
In Manchester, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Former Stonyfield CEO explores race for New Hampshire governor. Another candidate may be joining the Democratic race for governor in 2022. With the former CEO of Stonyfield registering a political committee, former Stonyfield CEO Gary Hirshberg can now begin raising money as he explores a run for governor after he registered a political committee Friday afternoon with the New Hampshire Secretary of State's office. In a statement, Hirshberg said he's talking with family and friends and other New Hampshire business leaders about a possible run. He said he would make a decision about running in the next few weeks. State Senator Tom Sherman is the only declared candidate in the race for the Democratic nomination for governor. Pompeo criticized for saying he had enormous respect for Putin, now calls him thug. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hey neighbor, together we've got this. With residential lenders who make decisions locally and mortgage and home equity solutions just right for you. Get to know your local banker. Get to know Profile Bank. Profilebank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mike Pompeo, the CIA director and Secretary of State under President Donald Trump, says the U.S. needs to maintain pressure on Russia as the invasion of Ukraine enters a new phase.
Don't think for a moment, in spite of the Ukrainian success today, that Vladimir Putin has changed. His intention about taking greater Ukraine and then moving on to something bigger than that is still very real. It's who he is. He is an autocratic thug who wants to do this kind of thing, which reminds him of Peter the Great in Russia.
Even as evidence mounts of atrocities apparently committed by the Russian military, Pompeo believes there are still higher priorities.
There's a lot of focus from this administration on war crimes. I think it's obvious that some of the things that have been done are war crimes, but that shouldn't be the focus for the moment. There's a time for that. Those can be prosecuted. The time today is for the United States to do its part to spur Europe to stop underwriting this war by continuing to buy Russian gas. It's time to get the Europeans to defend their neck of the woods.
Pompeo faced criticism prior to the Russian invasion for saying things about Vladimir Putin some found to be too complimentary.
Called him very shrewd, very capable. You said you have enormous respect for him. Has your opinion of him changed?
No, that's all still true. You know, when I was a cadet at West Point, they taught me never underestimate your adversary. You'll remember when President Obama talked about ISIS being the junior varsity. Remember he called them the JV? They proceeded to take a state the size of New Hampshire and cut people's heads off. No, Vladimir Putin is a very capable leader. We should respect that. It doesn't mean we shouldn't crush him. Having respect for someone doesn't mean you bend a knee to him or that you won't help someone who's fighting against him.
You can watch Secretary Pompeo's full interview Sunday on Close Up. Adam Sexton,
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Don Bolduc's U.S. Senate campaign details first quarter fundraising total. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Don Bolduc is announcing his fundraising numbers for the first quarter of 2022. We are proud of the 1,000 unique donors we had this quarter, resulting in our campaign raising just north of 100,000, the campaign said in a statement released to News 9. As we build out our fundraising operation, we will have the money to win the Republican nomination, but the polling numbers tell the real story. Senator Maggie Hassan, a Democrat incumbent, just posted a $4.3 million haul for the first quarter, while GOP challenger Kevin Smith brought in $410,000. In the rest of the Republican field, Chuck Morris has yet to release his fundraising total, and Bruce Fenton, who just joined the race, says he plans to invest millions of his own fortune to self-fund his campaign. Lawmakers question oil executives over near record high gas prices. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Partner with Profile Bank. Together, we've got this. With commercial lenders who make decisions locally and business and commercial real estate loan solutions just right for you. Get to know your local banker. Get to know Profile Bank. Profilebank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lawmakers are demanding to know why Americans are still dealing with soaring gas prices. In New Hampshire, the average cost for a gallon of regular is $4.10, down 20 cents from the record set nearly a month ago. But it's still $1.40 higher than this time last year.
And yet, while consumers are being pinched at the pump, oil companies have been raking in profits and pushing for policies that will only make our country more dependent upon oil.
New Hampshire Democrat Annie Custer, one of several lawmakers, questioning oil executives on Capitol Hill today, who say the situation is out of their control.
The industry not only has to spend significant capital just to offset existing production declines, but is experiencing severe cost inflation, a labor shortage due to 3 downturns in 12 years.
We do not control the market price of crude oil or natural gas, nor of refined products like gasoline and diesel fuel.
While Democrats blamed oil companies and Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, Republicans say prices were rising before the war started.
This is not the Putin price hike or the result of companies suddenly deciding to make money in 2022. This is the Biden price hike, and it's been a steady climb since he took office.
Oil companies have pledged to increase production, but executives say the best way to lower prices is for less regulation and speeding up permit approval.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Bill to address bail reform faces uncertain future in New Hampshire House Committee. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Partner with Profile Bank. Together, we've got this. With commercial lenders who make decisions locally and business and commercial real estate loan solutions just right for you. Get to know your local banker. Get to know Profile Bank. Profilebank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When Governor Chris Sununu delivered his State of the State address earlier this year, his biggest ovation came when he asked lawmakers to take on issues related to the automatic release of criminal offenders under the state's 2018 bail reform law.
Who wants to see a violent criminal walk free on bail? I'm not sure how everyone in this room isn't standing up for that, frankly.
The House already approved legislation attempting to deal with repeat offenders being released after every arrest, and the Senate passed a bill trying to limit automatic release after arrest for certain violent offenders. But that bill is now before the House Criminal Justice Committee, which effectively killed similar legislation last year. In their deliberations, some reps expressed concern that certain offenders would have a harder time getting out of jail if the bill became law.
You can do very small amounts of inappropriate or unwarranted, I forget exactly the language, unwarranted touching. And it ends up that that all of those people would be retained.
In the House, Democrats who oppose significant changes to bail reform join with Liberty Republicans to form a unique voting bloc.
I don't know if I can support the idea of taking away somebody's freedom, because that's cheaper to do than for the state to hire additional judges.
There are also activists who want to build out from bail reform, not scale it back.
Jailing someone for as little as 24 hours actually has a public safety harm connected with it.
The governor says many of the arguments being advanced against making changes to bail reform stand far outside the mainstream.
It's unfortunate that a few individuals kind of have, I think, the wrong perspective. But we'll keep working with them and try to get the pieces we need done.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King. Thank you for tuning in and watching. See you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Bye now.